Hi, Flosstube!
We're Pixie Dust Stitchers.
Welcome, and we are so glad that you joined us. Yes. We're filming in a little bit different location because we're trying to avoid light problems, which we'll see if that works.
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
Yeah. For people who are returning, thank you so much. Yes. And for people who are joining us for the first time, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Wendy.
And we're so glad to have you joining us. And thank you to everybody who has watched us, subscribed to us, liked us, commented. We appreciate you all very, very much.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, we're in gloomy northwest part of the country. It's rainy, cloudy.
At least it's not snowing like Minnesota.
I would be, yeah, that's right. I am so much happier here, and I will take this any day than a pile of snow, which I know a lot of you are dealing with right now.
Snow. I know. Farm Girl Stitcher, she was trying to get to...
I know. Arizona.
Yeah, and they were like...
It's insane.
It was awful. It was awful.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy. It's April, people. April.
Yeah, that's pretty normal for Minnesota. For those of you who are out in the Midwest, it's not unusual to get snow until May.
Yeah. Well, and then all the flooding. I mean, now, you know, my parents are in Eugene. The flooding is insane down there.
Really bad.
It's awful down there.
So between that and then, you know, like Nebraska and
oh my gosh, the Nebraska stuff's just breaking my heart.
They're all getting hammered.
Yeah, horrible.
So, poor Midwest is all over the place.
All over the place.
Yeah.
So much.
We feel for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our prayers. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. Alrighty. What should we start with?
Well, what we've been up to.
Okay.
Do we want to talk about the last thing? The very last time you saw us was 2 weeks ago. By the way, it's Thursday,
for
April
us,
11th.
Yes. Yeah. And we probably won't get this uploaded and on until Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
Depending on how my computer cooperates, because it hasn't been very cooperative lately.
So when you guys see us, it's usually about Friday or Saturday, but we're actually filming on Thursdays. Yeah. So that's what's been going on. So 2 weeks ago on Thursday, after our last video, our friend Lisa came over, and the three of us dyed fabric. And it was super fun.
It wasn't originally just going to be, oh, let's stitch together, because it's kind of like midway point through the meetups that we have once a month. And then the night before, I'm like, I know this is last minute, but let's dye some fabric.
I was running out to Joanne's like, I gotta go get stuff.
So we did.
Yep.
And it was a blast.
It was a blast. Had so much really fun. We really did. It was a good time.
And I know a lot of people watch tutorials, and so there's you get help that way, but I know there's a lot of ways that people will dye fabric. Lots of different ways.
Yeah.
I wanted the easiest, most simple way possible, and so we used Upton Stitcher's idea of how she did hers. Yeah,
because you were inspired by Emmy Irwin first, who had used Jen Upton's tutorial. Yeah. And so, and it worked out great. It's not color fast, but I never wash my stuff, especially with using over-dyed flosses. I don't wash it. I don't want it to, you know, so unless I shouldn't plan on it getting soaked.
And I know a lot of companies who do sell their stuff has a little tag in there saying it is not color fast. So it's nothing unusual. Nope. Not new. It's just what most people get anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we thought we would just give you a little glimpse of what we did.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, you even ironed yours. Mine's still all wrinkly.
Well, I couldn't stand it. And even though I ironed it, some of it is still look wrinkly because you can't use water.
That's true.
You can't steam. So I'm sure if you stitched on it and then stretched it, it would, you know, the wrinkles wouldn't show so much. But yeah, even ironed is like, So I ended up doing 5 different ones. Not everybody did that many, but you know, it takes a little bit of time, and you're playing too, because I don't know if anybody used just one color. We were usually using 2 to possibly 3 colors. But yeah.
Well, and some of us used, once we had them mixed, and we were all kind of like, oh, we like all of these, but then some of us, I know on some of them, I wanted it lighter rather than more vibrant, depending, but yeah, it was just kind of
took some time of experimenting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that took some time.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll maybe just go back and forth or something.
Sure.
And we'll see how well it shows up in this lighting.
Yeah.
Don't know.
We'll see how true to so pretty.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. very pretty. And that's pretty much how it came out as what I wanted. Very pretty.
Yeah.
This is on 32 count linen. It's got orange, pink, and just a hint of wine for the colorings. We used RIT, so those are what we used.
Well, and then I used the same colors, and I was actually hoping mine would turn out more like Wendy's, and it didn't. I'm still happy with it. Mine's probably more pink with not as much
the orange.
But I'm pretty happy. See, you can see the splotches of orange. I think it'll be real pretty. But there's, you know, quite a few pale, almost white spots. But I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. It was really fun. This is my favorite piece. And ironically, this is on the one piece of linen that was my least favorite linen. So isn't that just the way it works out?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and the next one that I did was a much more paler color. It's showing pretty true to color. It is also the 32 count linen. It's got aquamarine and purple colors.
That's really pretty.
So it's a nice soft color what I can use. I don't need all of them to be bright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did, we did a aqua and a gray. Was it pearl gray? Is that what it was called?
Something like that,
Something like that. Mine's all the 32 also. And I actually really liked this one. This is actually pretty hard to tell. Yeah. But it's more gray. You can see a little bit of the aqua. There's a weird... The screen's not quite showing that up with the...
I think if we tip them that way, it works.
Yeah. But it was really pretty. I like this one a lot.
Yes, and I like my next one as well. It's still, again, on the 32 count linen. I wanted to get kind of a Halloween kind of look to it. If I ever do this again, I might include a little bit of green coloring to it. But I do like it. It did turn out quite well.
That's really pretty. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So, a lot of very Halloween-y, dark kind of look to it. That's got 3 colors. It's got gray, purple, and black.
It's really nice, though, because it's not too dark either.
No.
So a lot of stuff will really show up on it.
Yeah.
It's really pretty.
Very versatile.
My last one, we kind of ended up going kind of the patriotic route.
Yeah, I'll show mine.
And you know, it's funny. It really was like red and blue, but because of the way it merged, you know, red and blue make purple, so it kind of has a bit more of a purpley. Yeah, this isn't quite true to how it looks. It looks very more tie-dyed to me, which is not the look I was going for, because personally I'm not much of a tie-dye fan. Right. I like the more modeling look to the tie-dye, but it's still quite pretty. Yeah. But so that's what I got.
That I got, I think it was royal blue. I'm not 100% sure. It did have more of a purple look to it.
Okay.
Even when we would test it on the paper towels to see if we had the concentration we wanted. It did come out looking a little bit like that. So you either had to go with it or you had to adjust it with some other colors like a black or gray in there if you wanted to change it.
It's very pretty. It's very pretty.
And I used the same colors. Mine turned out a little bit different.
Did you use Ada?
This is the Ada. So I switched it up into which fabric I used. It is a 16 count.
That's really cool the way that turned out.
So, a little bit different. And then I had one other one that I used. It's also on Ada, but it is on a 22 count. And I used teal and aquamarine as the coloring for it. It's very pretty. It's a little brighter than I thought it might come out, but that's okay, because, you know, who knows? I might find some use for it somewhere down the road. A lot of this stuff you just kind of got to play with and see what comes up.
Yeah. But the nice thing about it is most of the fabrics that we got weren't very expensive. Right. We had coupons, and then the RIT, which Wendy was so kindly.
Because I'm going to do it some more.
But those bottles are huge, and you really don't have to use a lot. So it probably cost-wise, it wasn't that much money. No,
it wasn't too bad. So yeah, between the coupons and everything, and the fact that you use so little, and I keep using it over and over again. It'll work out just fine. It
was a fun experiment.
Yeah,
something fun to do, and it was a little, I mean, I love getting together and stitching, and we love it when Lisa comes and joins us.
Yes.
But it was a nice change, nice change of pace.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I guess since we are kind of talking about things we've been doing, I will update on what's happening with me. Really no news with my son. That's going to be a couple weeks before we find out if the dentist stuff is working. But my mother-in-law if you've been watching, you know what's going on there. She did sign a contract for a facility to move into. So we've gotten past that hurdle.
And it was her choice, like you were talking about.
I mean, obviously, we're letting her make these decisions because she's got to be part of this. I think what sealed the deal, because we went back to one of the other places that we had seen already, is that, I'm thinking a week ago, we went to visit. That's when she signed the papers. My daughter met us there, and she's like, oh, it's so easy. I don't live that far, and I can just get on one bus and come over to see you, and it drops her off a block from the facility.
Nice.
That did it. That sealed it.
Nice.
Right there.
Get to see the granddaughter.
Yeah. So that helped a lot. So last week, I went over 3 days, and she lives about an hour from me. So it takes a little bit of travel to get there. And helped her pack. So she needs it. She needs help packing. She's not going to be able to do it herself. I work very fast no matter what I do usually. So I'm pretty quick with stuff. Within those 3 days, we got almost all of her stuff packed. There's very little left. So that's good. I did realize that she's got a limit on how long she can pack per day. And that's usually about 2.5 to 3 hours. And the reason I say that is that I'm still having to keep up with her and make sure she's staying on track of what we're doing or what particular thing we're working on. But also I still have to ask her sometimes 2 or 3 times a question if I need clarification. Like, are you keeping this? Are you not keeping this?
Sure.
But once you hit that 2.5, 3 hours, it gets far worse. So she's, she kind of hems and haws a lot more. She can't make a decision. She can't stay on track. It's even worse than before that time period. And it hasn't been a problem because usually we have gotten to the point where we can stop. It's not like we're in the middle of something.
Right.
So that has helped a lot. Kind of the reason we were pushing so much last week is because she left to go on vacation for 2 weeks.
Right, yeah.
So we needed to get almost everything done before she left.
Sure.
Because we have such a small few days once she does get back for us to finish.
Do they already have a spot for her? Or
there's a room, yeah. Okay. They already had a room. Okay. So it's not the room she wants. It's a 1-bedroom, which is all she needs. But the living room is really tiny, and the bedroom's actually kind of big. So it just doesn't, it's not going to work well for how she wants to set things up. And she's not going to be able to fit everything in there. Sure. So we're going to have a storage unit for a little bit.
Yeah.
But there is a unit we got to see. Somebody let us come in their room. And even though it's 100 square feet more, it looks enormous.
Oh, really?
Just because of the layout. That made all the difference. So,
like if something opens up,
So she is on a waiting list. She's the first person on that waiting list.
Nice.
So as soon as they have very few of those rooms because they're in rooms.
Sure.
So as soon as something comes up, then she'll be able to move to one of those.
Nice.
So the week of the 21st is when we will finish packing her up. Probably only take 1 day, and then move her. And unfortunately, all that happens right before we go on vacation. It's going to be very busy that week. Yeah. So yeah, I've been a little stressed along with other things that have been going on too. So
I'm sorry.
So yeah, it'll get there. We're getting there at least. Yeah. I mean, we're still dealing with a few other things like getting the power of attorney, some of her money, how it's tied up in her accounts. We have to since we don't have the power of attorney yet, we have to wait to be able to have her talk like on a conference call. And she keeps forgetting we need to do this. So we'll call her, and she's not available to do it. And they close, at 6 o'clock. And so I was like,
It's very hard to coordinate those things.
Yes. And have somebody remember. So my husband will be texting her all day long. Don't forget, 5 o'clock. Right. Don't forget, 5 o'clock.
Right.
So,
yeah. We went through some of this with my father-in-law a while ago, and it's a stressful time. It's really, it is a lot of coordination, and we had to go pick him up and bring him to our house, and we had to get all the paperwork together, and then it was just a debacle. Yeah, it just didn't work according to plan. It just it's rough stuff.
Yes. Alrighty. Anything in your life that's happening? I mean, I've kind of shared what's going on with me, but anything personal with you?
No, you know, my life right now is stitchy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, my husband isn't working a lot. He has a weird schedule where he works days, and then he gets maybe a day or two off. He works 12-hour days, and then he switches to graveyard.
Yeah.
And it is killer. It is hard on him. It is very hard. And it's hard on me. I mean, you know, and I'm always so thankful that I don't work, because I always say if I worked, I'd never see him. I'd never, ever see him.
Yep.
And it's wonderful because when he's off, you know, a lot of times he's off in the middle of the week, and we love that.
Yeah.
It is so nice. I love not having to deal with weekends. And when he's off, we don't have to worry about my schedule. We just pick up and go. Go do whatever we want. Drive, get coffee, go take a trip, whatever we want to do, and that makes it really nice. But yeah, he's just been really busy, so we haven't been spending a ton of time together. You know, just, you know, little bits here and there.
That's life, isn't it?
Yep. I've got my cats. Cats keep me company. And, but yeah, I mean, I wish I could say more about, you
Sometimes it's nice having that, just a calm life.
Yeah.
There isn't really anything new to share.
I mean, it's not the life that I had originally planned for myself. It was not what I thought was going to be my life, but it is, and we're real happy, and, you know, very content. And yeah, and so right now the big things for me are just stitching stuff. Yeah. And I have been super busy with stitching stuff. Between last Thursday, we had the first Thursday meetup, and that was like all day, it felt like. And that was super fun though. And Linda Jo came. Yay. We haven't seen her in so long.
She's been very busy.
So busy with her job and traveling and everything, but it was so much fun to see her and get to visit with her, and she's just a hoot and a half. I mean, that girl has got some energy, and I just love visiting with her. And so it was I actually thought last week was a really good, I mean, every week is really good, but I just thought that the group that was there was, oh, and Shelly, Kiak Stitch came up because she was here for Spring Fling, and so it was really fun visiting with her, so it was really nice. And then for me, Friday was going to be the shopping event, but I opted not to go because I just was like, I'm going to be driving and gone too much. I just couldn't do it.
And you were just there Thursday.
I was just there on Thursday. Yeah. And there wasn't, I mean, I think there was like door prizes and raffles and stuff, but I just knew that I didn't need to go. And being there at like 6 o'clock, traffic would have been so horrible.
Nasty around
horrible,
here.
Seriously.
Portland's
driving in Portland at 5 to get down now. And so then Saturday and Sunday was Spring Fling, and it was from 9 o'clock in the morning. No, 9:30. 9:30 in the morning. First day was until 5. Second day was until 3. And it was so much fun. It was my first retreat. And it was nice because I didn't have to go too far. It wasn't too far from my house. Even on the weekend, there was a little bit of traffic. You know,
weekends are bad around here.
Dumb.
It's like everybody goes out and about all day long.
I don't know. Especially going home. Going home was stupid. Once I hit the Moda Center and then up to the bridge to Washington, it's like people are stupid. I mean, it's not just that traffic is bad. Something happens to people, and people are really bad drivers, and they just, I don't know what's wrong with them. They just slow down, and it's dumb. But I digress. Anyway, it was super fun at Spring Fling. Had such a good time. I don't want to like dominate, but there was like so much that I wanted to talk about. I got no videoing done because I had way too much fun. And then I attempted to do a video, and I was like, oh, this isn't working. This is dumb. I mean, it was weird. It was just really strange, like trying to focus on just me. And I couldn't do it. I shot a short little video of all the ladies at my table. I don't think that we'll be able to clip that in, but we actually had a great table because from our group, our Thursday group, Marianne was there and Lisa. And so the three of us sat there, and then we actually squished an extra, it was supposed to be 6 people per table. We squished 7 people in, but it was great. And so I met a lovely lady named Tanya. I met Joyce, Karen, and Laurel. And it was really nice because actually, you know, I know Lisa and Marion quite well, but it was nice to have new people.
Oh, yeah.
And it was interesting because they're not really, they don't watch Flosstube. Oh. They aren't into any of that. They don't really shop at Acorns very often. They just go for like Spring Fling and or the flings, and that's kind of it. They don't meet up. But they were really nice ladies, had a really fun time visiting with them. We didn't do a lot of wandering. Some people were all about wandering and going table to table and seeing what was up and checking. And we just didn't do that. Our table was kind of towards the back, and we just kind of stuck to ourselves. I mean, we were super friendly, and we enjoyed visiting with each other. And when people would come over and check us out, it was super fun visiting. Cool. But yeah, I met Sarah King, who's also a floss tuber. And she and her mom, Carrie, and her daughter, Izzy, came up from Utah. They drove. Yeah. And that was really fun. So I got to meet them, had a wonderful time. Cool. And we had a gift exchange. That was all kinds of fun. And it's kind of, I don't know if anybody knows, a lot of times they did it, it's kind of like a white elephant, but nothing was bad, you know? Okay. And Marion got #1. So, which was awesome because then she can kind of, but let me tell you, between Marion and another woman named Zena, their stuff was stolen the entire time. Oh, yeah. And each time, Marion kept getting something really good. But the thing is, she ended up with just the most spectacular thing. Jolynn made it. Oh. And it was a Stacy Nash. It was a little bunny head. It was, I mean, everything she got was great because it was really highly sought after. Yeah. But yeah. And I actually ended up, I'll show you, I ended up getting something that Zena made. And so it says a spring day. And I don't know why it's a bunny, but it reminds me of a bee skep. Oh, see, if he doesn't, it kind of, you take the ears off and then the bees right next. Yeah. Yeah, anyway, it was really sweet. She actually had it framed and had the little bumpies put on the back too. So that was really fun. And we also got a really fun little gift. I believe Liz from Stitchy Box made these. They're a little wallet. And super cute. Nice. How cute that is. And came with a little threader and an adorable little ladybug needle minder. And spring and ladybugs and polka dots were kind of the theme. Okay. And it was really funny how many people were giving things that were part of the theme that nobody knew was part of the theme. Sure. It was hilarious because we didn't know. Nope. And I ended up making a scissor fob. And at first it wasn't, nobody was really trading for it or anything. And then towards the end, then people were kind of fighting for it a little bit. And kind of a fun thing on that note was at the end, Jennifer ended up stealing it. Oh. Jennifer from our group. And she took it to the table of the people who were working actually there from Acorns and Threads and working part of it. And Barb and Lynn were like, who made that? She's like, Stephanie made that. And like, you make those? I'm like, yes. And they're like, do you sell them? I'm like, I can. And so I ended up getting 2 commissions off of it. And I can show you that later. But I ended up getting one of them done for Lynn. She said I could share it. So that's pretty fun. Yay. And then one of the other things from Spring Fling that I loved, this is so fun, the Accoutrement Designs, who does needle binders, they have Acorns and Threads. I mean, gotta have that. I was super excited. Yes. So, hey, call Acorns and Threads. Great. Get your own. There you go. It's awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, that was really, really fun. Yes. So it was a good time.
And I did not go.
Everybody was asking about you.
Yeah, that's all right. Because it's just, I wouldn't have been able to go anyway. Because Saturday turned into one of the packing days. So even if I had planned way in advance, it really wouldn't have worked out real well.
Life just has a way of...
Yeah, and there's usually lots of other things going on. Sure. So, even though I didn't go, I had shown on I think the first video that we made some project bags that I had made. And I had tweaked some of those a little bit. I haven't kept making them exactly the same way.
You ended up making some of them bigger. Did you make them a little bit bigger?
No, I was making them kind of big to begin with. So sometimes I had some that were as big as 16 by 16. More of them turned in to be closer to 14 by 14s. And I had the vinyl cup front to most of those. Not every one had a vinyl front to it. So I had mentioned at that first video that I had wanted to try to see if I'd be able to sell these, try to figure out some way of doing that as a job in a sense. And just wasn't sure how I was going to go about it. And somebody mentioned, ask Janine, because she's the one who's, you know, running Spring Fling, see if you could be able to sell them at the retreat. So I did, and she was willing to do that. So since I wasn't there, I gave them to her to sell. And I had 18 of them, and 1 or 2 of them were duplicates, but all the rest of them were, they're all different patterns. And I sold every single one of them.
It's awesome.
I heard that and did a little happy dance. I mean, I can't even tell you how excited I was. Talking with Janine later, she's like, yeah, these were very popular, and yeah, you should make more. So I will pursue that and figure out how I'm going to sell them, because obviously there's not going to be retreats every single weekend.
No.
So I'll have to do it a different way. But we'll get to that, so I'm not going to worry about it.
But it was a good jumping off point, and it really shows you the interest. And
exactly.
It was a good price point, especially for how big the bags are.
Right.
You know, and there really is, there is a happy medium where people are like, yes, I will spend that much on a bag.
Right.
You know, and sometimes if it goes a little higher, people aren't so...
Right. They'll pass over it. But apparently everything was just the right amount, size, dollars, everything. And so I will probably proceed with that, all that information, and go from there. And I was just very happy and very excited about it all. So,
yeah. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and show my thing that So I made this for Lynn, so I was commissioned. She likes purple. I don't know how well this is going to show up. But
that behind it. That might help a little bit. Oh yeah. So
kind of. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like it wiggles around. But
wiggles around, and it's got buttons and antique buttons and beads and yep. So real happy with that, and that was a great bonus that came out of the weekend. And I have one more to make for Barb, and I've been wanting to, like you with the project bags, I was wanting to get into something. You know, I don't think this is something that I'm going to mass produce. But if people are interested, you know, then it will be something that I might do on a commission type, you know. And we'll see as stuff goes down. So, but it was really fun. It was a great little bonus. I wasn't expecting it at all, and it worked out really great. That was really fun.
Those surprises are really nice.
They are really, really nice. That was really fun.
Alrighty, I think the next thing we're going to do, and we've kind of been doing this throughout all of our videos, is a little get to know us better. Last video we talked about something that we felt shaped us in our younger life, and kind of made us who we are. Today, fun, we're going to talk about jobs we've had throughout our lives. Obviously, the older you get, the more jobs you probably had. So I am going to go back to start at 7th grade, so around 12 for me, because that was really when I first had a job that I was getting paid for, had to do daily for it. So I felt like that was probably a good starting point. So that one was a paper route. And that's a daily thing. So back in the day when you had your little sling bag with the pockets in it, and you had to pre-roll the papers and stick them in there and carry them throughout your whole route and deliver them. So that's what I did. Then I also did I worked in a dental office, mostly office work, but I also did, like, when the appointments were done, I'd go in and clean the room, get it ready for the next appointment. So a little bit of that. I worked at a daycare. I had wanted to be a teacher, so in high school I was doing classes, so I ended up, and the actual teacher gave me a good recommendation when I applied for that job, so that was great. And for Blast from the Past, for those of you who've heard of this place, Jofko.
Do I know that?
It was a little unique, so if you know what it is, you know what I'm talking about. Then the next place I worked was a microfilm company. So if you've gone to the library where you've seen the spindles where you feed it through and it winds and you find the right thing, or if you've seen a sheet and it's got a whole bunch of rows of different microfilm.
Like the microfiche type stuff?
And you put it in a little machine and find it.
I love that.
We made those. We filmed all the documents that we had the company contracts for, so that was really interesting. That was probably one of my more interesting jobs.
Wow.
Then I did data entry at an insurance company, so all the claims. This was before, you know, we had computers. Well, some people had PC type computers. We had office computers that just did office connection type thing. But everybody used to send, you know, their claims. We didn't get them electronically, so somebody had to enter those into the computer. So I was one of those. I was a teacher at a high school for a few years. Then I took a big chunk of time and was a mom and a homeschooler.
That's a big job.
That's a job. That's why I put it down. I was also a librarian.
Yeah, you talked about that. That's very cool.
Yeah, yeah. Worked in a coffee shop. And my last job was the dining room supervisor at an assisted living memory care facility. So those were, I mean, one of those jobs I didn't get paid for. It was still considered volunteer, but I still think of it as a job. Sure. That doesn't really include any other volunteer things we might have been doing. Some of these jobs I had at the same time, more than one. So kind of an example of something we did that was volunteer, but took up a lot of our time, is that last video Stephanie mentioned being in Awana, which is a church children's function. I have worked in Awana for 25 plus years. I'm not doing it right now because we live a little too far from our church. But probably around 15 of those years, my husband and I were what's called the commanders. So we ran the whole thing for the church. And in both churches we were in, we had approximately 125 kids throughout the age groups. So it was a big facility, you know, big group. And that includes, when you're a commander, you're in charge of everything. So you have to make sure each week runs. You have to make sure you have all the leaders. You have to, any special events that you're going on, you are in charge of coordinating all that, getting that ready. The end of the year awards. There's a lot to do when you are in charge of stuff like that. So, yeah, we've been very busy throughout our lives. Very busy.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, yeah, as you guys know, the last video I talked a lot about babysitting. That was my big thing. I mean, I started babysitting from the time I was about 10, 11.
Yep.
I was always just a little more mature and trustworthy, and I babysat, and that's what I did. And I was one of those people, I didn't grow up in a family where I didn't get allowance. We didn't have a ton of money. And if I wanted something and I wanted to go shopping with my friends, I had to earn my own money. And that was okay. It taught me great things. I wish I had saved a lot of the money that I had earned.
We are foolish when we're young.
I'm still foolish, sadly. But I had an obsession with earrings. And so all my babysitting money, we would go shopping on the weekends and I'd buy earrings. Crazier the better. But yeah, so babysitting was my first thing. When I graduated high school, I knew that I needed a job, but I didn't know what I was going to do. I decided to take a year off, and I was going to go to college and become a teacher. And I didn't do that. And I ended up getting a job at Hollywood Video. They don't even exist anymore. But I loved it. I am a movie freak and a half, and being around movies was the best. And we actually worked at an express store, so it was really small, and it was inside of a Fred Meyer. And it was awesome because there felt like a lot of safety there because it wasn't a standalone store. I made a lot of friends with the people who worked at Fred Meyer. It was a blast, and it was weird. There was like a crew of 3 of us. And so sometimes it was really long hours and we were alone. But it was really fun. And I got to know all the movies in the video store. I did. People would come in and ask me if we had something, and I'd say no. And they're like, but you didn't type it in the computer. I don't need to. I literally knew every single movie. And then I loved some of my favorite parts about it were people would come in and say, that movie with that guy. And I'm like, I need a little bit more. Well, there was a girl, and they did a thing, and I'd be like, Tequila Sunrise. They're like, yes! So I loved guessing when people were trying to figure out. That was really fun. And I had some people who came in who just trusted me, and they're like, pick out 5 movies for me. And that was really fun. And then also I got to take all the movies home for free that I wanted. It was awesome. That was really fun. So that was my first real job. Yes. It was great. It was wonderful. And then after that, actually while I was doing that, my dad my whole life has asked me to work for him. He has an insurance agency. And I've never wanted to. I've never enjoyed insurance, and I always avoided it. And then he also ended up having a mortgage brokerage, and I knew that I needed a more grown-up job. And so I decided to go to work for him, and I became his loan processor. And I did that. And then during that time, his regular secretary had to leave. And I ended up becoming his secretary for the insurance side also. And kind of became office manager. And I worked for my dad for quite a long time, but I will show you a picture. Because my very first time working for my dad, so there we go. It's kind of hard to see, but yep, I was filing for my dad back when I was a baby. Yeah. So, you know, who knew? Anyway, so that was fun. So I did that, and I worked for my dad for a long time. And then some things in life happened, and I moved on, and I ended up working for a title company for a little bit. I did disbursements. That is the most stressful job I've ever had in my entire life. People want their money. Oh, yeah. And you cannot release the money until the loan has recorded. And you get calls from people who are mad at you for something that you have no control over. That was seriously the most stressful thing I've ever done in my life. And then I ended up working as a customer service representative for LifeWise insurance company, health insurance, when I lived in Bend for a little bit. Shortly before that, I actually worked as a receptionist at a place called Aspen Ridge that is a retirement and assisted living facility, and I loved that. I loved those people. It wasn't a job that would sustain us, so I had to move on. But I really loved it. I got to know those people, and I loved them so much. And they were a hoot and a half. And then the last thing that I did was I went to beauty school. And it was at a time in my life when I needed to figure some stuff out. I was going through some rough stuff. And I always wanted to go to beauty school. I always was in love with makeup and hair and all that stuff. And so I ended up going. And I have my license, and I do nothing with it. And we have a running joke that I still have all my student loans. And oh my gosh, it is insane the amount of money that I still owe for beauty school. But we joke that we get discounted shampoo because of my license. So hey, you know, thousands of dollars that I owe, but I get discounted shampoo. Whoop whoop. So that's what I do. And, but it's okay. It was what I needed in my life to get me to where I am. And it took me to Washington, which is where I ended up meeting my husband. And so, no regrets.
Nope, no regrets.
So,
I wanted to give a quick little update before we move on to like whips and purchases and things. I showed actually my delicious Mr. and Mrs. Delicious. And I had asked everybody to give me their opinion on which, like dish, because I bought 2 different dishes, which dish they thought it looked good in. I had an opinion. I knew which one I wanted.
I had an opinion.
She had an opinion, but we wanted to, you know.
We had the same opinion.
Yes. We wanted to not, you know, jinx the results and all that. So, almost overwhelmingly, everybody chose the same thing, which was the ones we liked. So that was great. So that turned into the stoneware one. So that's the one I will probably use and save the red one for some other project.
Nice.
So yeah, I was very happy to see that.
That was awesome. So thanks for participating. We love that. Thank you so much.
It just makes the decision more fun.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Do you want to cover your whips or you want me to go?
Whatever you want to do.
Alright. Both of us don't have a lot of whips because we don't tend to have a lot of whips to begin with, but also if we're not making any progress, if we don't do anything on them, we're not going to show those again. Yeah,
we don't want to bore you guys. I mean, we want to keep you up to date and stuff like that, but we've both been busy. And I'm one of those weirdos that I didn't get much stitching done when I was at retreat.
Well, and I think a lot of people, I mean, think about Michelle Bendy. I think that's all she does too.
Yeah.
I mean, I know she stitches, but she is huge about walking around and talking to people. Yeah. So it happens.
I just love visiting with my table, and I should have kept a fill-in. Like I was saying, my pig. I should have saved the pig for that.
Nothing but concentrate.
I'm not a person that typically has to frog.
Yeah.
And I had to do so much frogging, and it was too stressful. So I was just like, nope, nope.
So the first one that I'm going to show is this one. It's Floral Fun.
Is that one of the other ones?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's 3 of them, and I showed a different one last time.
The green one.
And so here's what I've done so far on this. I haven't started it that long ago, but I've also been working on a few other things, so I haven't done a lot.
Like fabric.
I think this is Picture This Plus fabric. Well, no, this one isn't. It calls for Picture This Plus, and so did the other 2. So Kermit was the green one. I was able to get 2 of the fabrics through Pictureless Plus. This fabric they don't make anymore. So we had to find a substitute. So I don't know if you can tell. Really it's much more orange than the picture one. I would have preferred more pink, but I'm going to go with the orange one.
I think the orange is really pretty.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, so it'll work. So that's one of my whips. The other one, and I mentioned I said I probably would start this, is the Sleepy Hollow. And if you remember, I'm only making 2 of the panels. So I'm just doing this panel here and the center panel. And I'm making changes. So I will show you what I've done so far.
Nice.
So this is what I've done. And I don't know if you remember, but I'm changing the hill into a bridge. So this is kind of the sample I had made. And so that's what I will get out of it. And you can start to see the bridge next to the tree. It did require making a little bit of modifications because with this one, with the tree, it looks like it's growing from the side of the hill. So part of the trunk goes up the hill. Well, I can't do that with this because there's no hill. So it's got to go behind the bridge and onto the ground. So I had to modify that a little bit too as well. I knew there was going to be a few more modifications than just putting the bridge and how the people were, the horses were running across them, but I wasn't sure yet, and I didn't want to have to take the time to figure all that out until I got started with it. So those are my whips.
Nice.
You want to do your whips?
Sure.
And then we'll do purchase.
Yep. So instead of showing all of them, I just have the ones that I've actually gotten a little bit of stuff done on it. This is The Beekeeper by Plum Street Samplers. And I got the bee skep done. I got all of the bee skep. Nice. And I love it. It turned out beautifully. I love this kind of lattice work type here. So I'm really happy that I got that done and I get to move on and enjoying that a lot. So the next one is the Spotted Pig's Pin Keep.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing. So if you look on here, you can see this is kind of white, and then the pink and the spots look white. Well, because I changed the fabric, the called for color is lamb's wool, and I stuck with it. And if you look, it's more pinky. It blends in with this. So when I was working on this at retreat, I did the pins, the box, in the lamb's wool, and it just blended in too much. So now I'm having this dilemma because I went for something bolder. So it's pink and green. and I don't know. Because I already frogged the whole thing. And I asked someone, and they're like, no, I like the pink. And I'll do the green. So here. So you guys tell me what you think. I really don't want to frog it again, though, honestly. But I mean,
that means everybody's going to say, it's fine.
I know, it's fine. It's fine. And it probably is fine. I mean, there's a lot of the pink and the green. Yeah. It's going to be fine. But I feel like it takes it away from the primitive look that it had. And I don't know why it's kind of bothering me. It's pretty. I mean, it looks fine.
Yep.
But it's just
one of those things.
Yeah. It was the actual stitching that I got done at retreat, and then after I looked at it, I'm like, this, you can't even see it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't. Yeah. Anyway,
I did forget. I've got a couple finishes before I move to my purchases. Yeah. So this is the other Floral Fun, the one in the green. So it is the only thing I still need to do is there are actually little teeny tiny buttons that go on it. So I've got three that need to go on this one, 3 on the orange, and 3 on a blue. So they're really, really tiny. I'm just going to wait until all 3 pieces are done, and then I will sew buttons on all at the same time. So it's virtually finished.
Nice.
The other finish I have is my flamingo. So I was very happy with the flamingo. He was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed him. So I finally finished him. But I didn't just finish him. I FFO'd him. And I am so happy. I can't believe it. So there he is finished. I made him into a project bag. I left my little tag here for what kind of fabric it is. So yeah, I am thrilled about the colors.
The fabric turned out great with it.
And there's the back. Pretty nice, pretty back. And then I've got a nice little fob for the zipper, which matches very nicely as well. So I am, beyond happy about this. Love it, love it, love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So those are my finishes. I don't have very many purchases, as usual. Surprise, surprise. So it won't take me very long to get through that. as many of you, I am doing the Glitter Village, so I got my next house, which many of you, if you're doing that, probably already got yours too.
Which one is that? How many in is that?
I think it's 4 or 5.
Okay.
Does it say? Oh, it's actually no. That's a 6-inch.
Oh.
They had numbers on them. They said like house number this, house number this.
Oh yeah.
And now this one doesn't say that. I'm not sure. I think it might be 5.
Okay.
Because I think it was the middle one. I think it was halfway through. So I know that you can stitch them individually, and you can stitch them all together on a panel. And usually the panel shows 3 houses across 3 rows, so you make it into a block.
I see.
Okay. Somebody at Acorns and Threads, they had it out as a display for like 3 of the houses, because that's all that had been out. They put it on the fabric, the call for fabric, but they were going to stitch all of them, all 9 of them, across in one row. Nice. So it looked like a street, a whole street. The piece is going to be like 3 feet long, but that's okay. And that's what I'm going to do, because I like that look a lot better than the 3, 3, 3. The other thing I got, do I have it? Yep. Antique cups and teaspoons. Cute. Very cute. When we were debating our name, one of them was Teacup Stitchers. Because I have a lot of teacups. I collect teacups. And so that will go very nicely with my teacup display once I get it done. The only other purchase I'm going to show, I love going to the thrift store. I try not to go too often. And the last time I went, I found several things. But the one thing I found, which I'm just like, that's awesome, is this wonderful frame. It's beautiful. I mean, it's so ornate and so wonderful that you're going to have a special piece, but when you need it for that special piece, I'm going to have it.
Nice. It looks heavy.
It is very heavy.
Yeah.
But
that's a hunk of wood.
It's just the detail on this is amazing.
That's awesome.
So I'm very excited.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool.
Can't wait to find a project to put that in.
That'll be very cool.
So those are my purchases.
Awesome. I forgot to talk about this. This is, okay, so the Linen and Threads is doing a 2019 mystery sampler. It's called A Peacock's Garden. People have been talking about it. Holly and Anita. I'm not sure if Jan Hicks is doing it. There's quite a few people that are doing it. Anyway, this is April, so I'm just going to show you what it looks like, kind of. It's free. You can go find it on their website. The peacock is the first, and then all the borders was for February. This little motif was for March, and now the little swans is for April. I haven't stitched any of it because I kind of came into it late and heard about it late. But I'm of the opinion that it doesn't matter. They're going to put it out for each month. I'm going to print them off, and I'm going to have them. And what I'm kind of debating is what color to do. When we were Acorns and Threads, I was looking. I thought about doing silks, and I thought about doing a variegated with peacocky colors, like a blue, purple, green. Right. And I thought that would be really, really pretty. But then I saw someone, and I forget who was showing me, maybe Marion. Someone is doing it, and they're actually doing it kind of in that colorway of peacocky colors, but they are doing individual. Like they actually are doing the fan of the peacock. Let me just say the picture was stunning. And I'm like, oh, now I don't know what to do. But I think that doing it all in one color would be neat because it's just be really nice. So that's kind of what. So I have to go, and when I was at Acorns, they didn't have enough skeins of the ones that I was looking at. So I kind of have to wait on that. And then I did get a just tiny bit of haul. Some things that came in again from Market and that I had put my name on, but the Quaker sewing tray by With Thy Needle and Thread. And then this one, I just love this. Blackberry Lane Designs, Stitching in the Garden. It was the girl. She just really stole my heart. There was something about her. I just loved her. She looks so precious. And then this one is an old one. This is actually from 2013. It's a Plum Street Samplers called Promised Lamb, but it's been on my wish list. And so I ordered that. I really, really love that. I thought that was really sweet. So that came in, so I was really excited. And then I also got The Christmas Witch by Kathy Barrett, because I really wanted that one. I don't know why I ordered Christmas, but I really wanted that one. I don't know. I just thought it was really cute. And then this one. Okay, so if you guys don't know Colette, Highway Stitcher, she is really fun. And I've been following her, and she was doing the Wisdom Sampler by Donna Vermilion Giampa. And I don't know why. She was stitching it, and I just thought it was so cool. And I went and I found it. And I got it, and that's what it looks like. And I think she finished hers. But I just thought it was beautiful, and the way that she was working on it was so pretty. And it says, "This needlework of mine can tell, I in my youth was learned well, or learned, and by my elders also taught not to spend my time for naught." But I just really loved the flowers, and I thought it was super sweet. Cool. So had to get that.
Fun.
Yep.
So there was one thing I wanted to cover last week, and we were just going way too long, so I waited till this week. I know a lot of people have talked about this in groups. I've also seen Flosstube people talk about it and say, oh, I need to look that up and I need to find the answer for it. And nobody has that I've seen. Not that I watch everybody by any means.
A lot of people. So, a lot of you out there.
Yeah. So I am going to give an answer to this question. Embroidery thread or floss? Yeah. So there are many different ways people have described it, and some of them are as simple as, well, floss is prettier. I was like, no, I want a little bit more scientific reason than just it's prettier.
Sure.
So I kind of found that. So it says, we'll start by talking about yarn. Yarn is fibers spun together to make a tight bound material. The way that you construct the spin is the root of the issue. You can either spin it in an S or a Z way. And I'll show you a little picture here, what they're talking about. So you can see which direction it's going, how it's spun. That makes a difference, apparently. So what they say is that the Z twist is used in sewing machines as the twist causes less fraying and unraveling. However, S twist is used for threads specifically meant to come apart. Oh. Thus, this is where it gets down to the brass tacks of the issue. Embroidery floss is made up of 6 strands of embroidery thread.
Oh, so one individual is a thread, the whole
thing is floss.
Oh, okay.
The 6 strands are spun with a Z twist. These are then combined to make the S twist, which are meant to come apart. So basically it says, what should you say? Either. That's the scientific answer.
Whatever,
because depending on how you're looking at it, if you're looking at one individual thread, it's one way, and if you're looking at the group, it's floss. So either way is going to be right. It's nobody's saying it wrong. You don't have to get mad at somebody and say, you're saying it wrong.
There's no rules.
No.
So, see, you just proved it again. No rules.
No rules,
Say
Janine.
It either way.
So, awesome. I'm glad we got that cleared up.
Nice. Yep.
Alrighty.
Time for the giveaway. Whoop, whoop.
So, yes, we had our wildflowers. We'll show that again. Our nice little pattern. It's very pretty. We had 5 people request this.
Yep.
I actually had one other person say they really liked it, but they already had the pattern, so they didn't need it.
I know. Yeah, she's like, I love it, but I don't need it.
Yeah. So 5 people, which is fine. We don't need to have 20 people asking for the same thing. That's okay with us. So we did our little random. We assigned everybody a number, did a random number picker, and as long as we're saying your name right, Verpy R. You are the winner.
Yay!
We will comment on your comment, and then you need to contact us.
Yeah, contact us. Send us your full name, address. Either contact us on pixieduststitchers@gmail.com.
Yep.
And or you could do both. If you follow us on Instagram, Pixie Dust Stitchers on Instagram, you can direct message us and then send us your contact information so that we can mail that out to you. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. So we are going to go ahead and do another one for this next 2 weeks. Something totally different. We're going to do Whale Song. It's got 3 different patterns. You can choose how much or what you want to do. You can see that it's a really dark blue background. As part of this pattern, what I am going to throw in, because I was inspired from my fabric dyeing, is I dyed some fabric. I'll just show you part of it.
Great.
It's not going to be as dark. This I used, so you can see the 2 different colors. This is denim blue, the dye. So it is a darker color. I don't know if it's showing really true. It seems like it might be a little bit darker than what it's showing on here. I am going to insert, hopefully, a little clip here about all the flosses were set on top of the fabric so you could see what the called for flosses were, and if you think that they're going to go together with that material. The floss will not be included in the giveaway though.
Just the pattern.
But yeah, if you're interested in the material and the pattern, you can put in there, I want to stitch the whales, and we will put you on our little list of giveaway
Don't say giveaway, don't say free, just enter, I want to stitch the whales, or just say whales, and we'll enter you in.
Yes. So I think we're all done.
We're all done?
Yeah. A little shorter than last time. Yes, good.
Thanks for joining us again. We appreciate it so much.
All right, we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.